Oh boy, here we go again. Brett? Yes, this is really how I'm starting the video off. No one saw that. 22, coming 1995. Good times. How was it even born back then? And I'm still saying this, which makes no sense. Anyways, that was inconvenient, but just like that, yeah, the game said it itself. Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, Sonic the Hedgehog and Miles Tails Prower, starting in, there it is, Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble. Boy, how long has it been? Good gosh, I think I accidentally even clicked out of the window. Whoops. What a great way to start a video off. Beautiful, blooper reel already. Trying to play this game for quite a while too, and good gosh, has it really been that long? 2 months. Don't kill me, please, I beg you. I know it's been a while. I mean, clearly the Japan video wasn't enough, but nevertheless, here we are again, and just like that, a wide selection of save files, ladies and gentlemen. And before we jump straight ahead, I quickly want to point out that, as you could probably tell by the title or the description, this is hype for Sonic Superstars, which is just right around the corner, and you better believe that I am waiting to play that game, and I could even call this my preparation or even a warm-up, but I'm playing on PC, I'm playing that on console, so it relates one way or another. But anyways, with that introduction out of the way, let's dig right in, ladies and gentlemen. New file. Gotta love the intro. Yes, game start, classic. For those of you who don't know, Sonic would always do that right before loading into a zone or an act. Anyways, plot. After the destruction of the Death Egg, the Master Emerald is returned to Angel Island. I repeat, good memories. Knuckles is bound to be happy by now, and just like that, Floating Island or Angel Island, whatever you want to call it, ability to float in the sky has yet once more been restored thanks to the Master Emerald. And Robotnik is supposedly defeated now. If he survived, that is. Oops. It's pretty obvious that in Sonic Origins, it really made it obvious that of course, he is alive. Misleading you already. Fantastic. It's also a good time to point out that this game is chock full of references, and before you begin asking yourselves, is this official? The answer is no, it is not official. This is a fan game, and yes, I know I've never played a fan game before on this channel, but hey, first time for everything. This game was just so good I had to get my hands on it, and boy has it gotten decent reviews already. And already, right off the bat, tell that it does not play at all like your traditional Sonic game, where, I mean, can you do this? You said you have to pick characters from title screen, and that's a first. But going back to the introduction, or before I guess we ought to teach Robotnik a lesson, super form already, and we're already just gonna abuse him to death. Hey, fair, this is my tactic like 95% of the time. You go again. There's nothing new. Been waiting to get my hands on a Sonic game for a while, and there it is. Didn't have to pay for it though. Difference, am I right? And beautiful. Already off to a fantastic start, and yep, there it is. Remember when I said Robotnik was supposedly gone? I misleaded you. Beautiful. What an introduction this is, and he's off already. I'll explain plot later. Don't worry. I won't forget to provide you information. Please don't kill me. Oh. Hello there. Introduction. Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We're back once more. And just like that, boy oh boy, Great Turquoise Zone Act 1. China, yes. Anyways, not just kidding. Boy, I gotta say, this game right off the bat looks beautiful. I will confess, I obviously played this game for the sake of practice runs, since I literally never play on PC. It's always usually console, but hey. Just like I said before, first time for everything, and boy does this game look beautiful as previously stated. Originally, this game came out for the Game Gear. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, the Game Gear was basically Sega's handheld system, which at the time was struggling to compete against the Game Boy, so thus, after Sonic became a thing, they obviously decided to port him to Game Gear to drive better sales. That is, in the video game war at the time. Beautiful. What is this commentary? And already are we off to a fantastic start. It's clearly evident that I haven't done this in a while. Beautiful. Tails is having the time of his life right now. But anyways, where were we? Oh yes, history. basically give you some backstory on the development history of this game. Again, this was meant to be a Game Gear game. However, beautiful, I already lost my tone. However, this was actually made to be a sequel to Sonic Chaos, aka Sonic and Tails in Japan. Yes, that's what the game was called in Japan, obviously, as you could already tell. Beautiful, and I'm already losing focus. That's a good start for sure. Not to mention I practice. Considering the fact that in Japan, this game was actually referred to as Sonic and Tails 2, and the reason as to why that was is because in Sonic Chaos and in Triple Trouble, I believe was the first time where you could actually play as Tails in an 8-bit Sonic game, if I'm not mistaken, that is. Pretty sweet if I do say so myself, ladies and gentlemen, but anyways. Special stage, and I've hardly been commentating, and it's nearly got me killed, which is a fantastic start, and boy, we have a lot to talk about. Specifically that one character we're racing against. Since this is a special stage, and boy have they changed. Introducing Knack the Weasel, ladies and gentlemen, aka Fang the Sniper, as most of you know him as. It's pretty weird, his name has a funny history. In short, long story short, basically in the European manual, for whatever reason they decided to call him Knack, and yep, fans just began referring to him that as from now on. However, most people call him Fang. Sega calls him that, it's funny enough, but I'm honest, I honestly prefer Knack. It sounds a bit funnier, it suits his personality. I mean, to be fair, he's pretty much meant to be a menace, and I'm already giving spoilers. Fantastic. Could have put that in the title, but anyways. This is a race. And yes, the special stages have been significantly modified. Originally, they weren't like this at all. They were weird if you ask me. They definitely weren't like your usual Sonic game where you would just have to either collect 50 rings, enter a portal, and then hope you grab the emerald and do the right thing to get it. But in Triple Trouble, or in the original version, it wasn't actually like that. You would grab 50 rings, yes, but once you were in it, you would either be taken to one of two special stages depending on how many emeralds you had. So the game would illustrate by sending you to either a palace-like stage where you basically had to navigate your way to the end of the level like your traditional platformer. If anything, it sounds a lot more like Mario, which it does. Or you would either be sent to a pseudo 3D stage where you would basically have to collect a set amount of rings while piloting the tornado itself. Yes, I'm not kidding. However, what makes these special stages a bit weird is that once you got to the end of them, or once you completed their objective given, you would actually instead encounter, you guessed it, Knack. Yes, that one character we're racing against, and I forgot what animal he was based off. Don't kill me, I'm trying my best to give information. Please don't kill me. Anyways, turning back to the discussed topic, once you reached Knack, you would basically then have to fight him for an emerald, and if I'm honest, this fight felt more, if anything, like a mini-boss. To be fair, yet again suits his personality, considering the fact that most of you don't know this, but in the original game, Knack was actually exclusive to the special stages only. However, in this remake, that changed. You'll get to see him in action in a minute. I mean, you've seen him in one cutscene, like what, three races? Beautiful. My commentary is once already falling apart. Beautiful. That's already a good sign. Welcome to P156, if I do say so myself, ladies and gentlemen. This is how I build hype. Yes. Don't kill me. Anyways. Just about reached the end by now, and speaking of which, now is also probably a good time to explain why the game's called Sonic Triple Trouble. I'll explain the other part of the reason as to why later on, since I don't want to spoil something that's coming up, and I already missed a special stage, but it's fine. Anyways, the reason as to why this game's called Sonic Triple Trouble, and I'm actually bothering to explain this, is because 3 troubles. Oh wow, would you look at that? It's the name of the game. Who could have possibly guessed? But yes, as a matter of fact, that is true, since, as you already noticed, Robotnik is back, and he's once more after the emeralds, and newcomer Knack the Weasel, who is a bounty hunter hired to, I guess, collect the emeralds. It's pretty funny, considering the yet again this is a remake. For the most part, it does try to feel like the original Sonic Triple Trouble, but it was significantly modified. Even its story changed. In the original Sonic Triple Trouble, it was basically, as I previously mentioned, a sequel to Sonic Chaos, or Sonic and Tails if you lived in Japan. where Sonic and Tails basically just kept chasing Robotnik to prevent him from getting his hands on the emeralds, which was pretty straightforward Sonic plot. I mean, yet again, video games, am I right? But anyways, back to topic. That actually wasn't the case with this remaster or remake, to put it that way. Since in this game, there was actually a much bigger plot. Since as you could already tell, this game's story was actually modified to take place after the events of Sonic and Knuckles, or Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, whichever you prefer. Which, if I'm honest with you, I significantly prefer, since the original one I could hardly find any information on, and boy did this save me a decent amount of time. My commentary is already collapsing, what am I saying? But anyways, going back to topic, you're basically trying to get the emeralds back from Robotnik before he uses them for evil. Obviously, the power of his Badnik army, and basically just take over the world, supposedly. AKA Mobius, in other words. Pretty funny. Speaking of Mobius, it's actually pretty funny how the information regarding the planet itself, I mean, at least according to the North American manuals, that's the setting of Sonic. Pretty odd. I mean, to be fair, it also did make a return in the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog for those of you who watched it, including me. I'm giving information on that once more. However, for Japan, it wasn't actually like that. Japan the plot in the Japanese manual is more so focused on the islands. By that I mean South Island, West Side Island, and yep, Angel Island or Floating Island within North America or Japan. Pretty funny. And I already forgot what I was saying. Good start. At least I'm giving you quality gameplay. That's a first. Thank you. Another emerald has once more been acquired, and I am so tempted to spoil the story already, but I won't for the sake of tension and suspense. Anyways, playing as Tails. Which, by the way, is also a new mechanic added to this game. Initially, in the first game, as previously mentioned, once you basically booted up the game, you would be sent to the title screen like any other Sonic game, but, however, you were either given the option to play as either Sonic or Tails. And that was basically the only control you had over deciding which character you would want to control in which playthrough. Which I am glad this game modified, since it makes the game all the more enjoyable, the fact that you can switch between Sonic and Tails. Initially, in the Genesis games, you couldn't do that, unless you had a second player to help you fly as Tails. It really just shows how really just portrays Sonic and Tails as the true team they are. I like that, and beautiful. There it is, commentary strikes back. How lovely. Anyways, am I missing anything? Looking back at the script, no, I'm just kidding. Please don't, I obviously don't have a script. I obviously didn't make a script, just say whatever comes to mind. Might as well give you a bit of behind the scenes info on how I decide to manage these videos. Have it, fun fact. Anyways. Oh boy. Now would also be a good time to talk about the development history of the remake itself. What better timing? Anyways, I hope you're ready for this. Initially, this game was actually meant to be a bit more loyal was actually meant to have a design a lot more faithful to that of the original Sonic Triple Trouble for the Game Gear. However, the creator, Noah N. Copeland, which you may or may not know, initially tried to do this by basically porting the original stages or their layouts from Triple Trouble, and basically scaling them by 2, and then basically just replacing those titles with Genesis ones to make it look pretty, and then just adding Genesis, Sonic, and Tails, which here they are, by the way, to basically just make it look a little more pretty and as an actual remastered Sonic game. Since, speaking of which, you might also be wondering why this game was chosen to be remastered, and the reason as to why it was in question was, since as you may or could probably tell or not, in the eyes of Noah, this game actually resembled the design of that of a Genesis game the closest. In other words, this game felt, out of all the 8-bit Sonic games made by Sega, this was the one that felt closest to a Genesis game, and Noah had been wanting to make a Sonic game of his own for a while, so he figured this was the perfect way to start it all off. However, as you all imagined, and obviously, there were some technical difficulties, since, as you all expect, Game Gear, Sonic, and Genesis are by all means not the same thing, especially when it comes to physics, and that was the major problem when it came to Noah's idea, since yes, the levels could be reimagined and to look pretty and all that, but the physics just felt off since in the original Sonic Triple Trouble, for those of you who don't know, Sonic, he controlled a bit awkwardly, especially his jump. It almost felt like the gravity was off. Thought EXE has stopped working, no, I'm just kidding, but going back to what I was previously saying, the physics didn't really feel that right, and basically just plopping the Genesis physics into stages that weren't built with that in mind wouldn't make the game fun by any means, so as a result, Noah basically altered his objective from remastering Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble but for Genesis to basically reimagining every level in the game, and I am glad he did that since he did a bang-up job doing so. Trust me, if this was the original Sonic Triple Trouble, I kid you not, we would you'd probably almost be halfway through the game by now. Stages were short, and it's pretty obvious as to why. Different software, limited power. Since obviously the Genesis was the more powerful of the two hardware. I mean, 16-bit to 8-bit, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, it's basically how Sonic Triple Trouble came to be, and slowly but surely the community and the team began the creation of a new team to basically create a product as ambitious like this one. And boy, as I previously said, they did a decent job at it. The special stages just look beautiful. Going back to what I said before, the stages in this remaster are a lot more reminiscent of those pseudo 3D battle stages I mentioned earlier, where you would control a torpedo and collect a set amount of rings before fighting Knack. This time you actually have to race him, and I'm glad they out of all the ideas they could have gone for, they went for that one. It fits Sonic's personality the most, and it even displays new rivalry with a new antagonist, and I love that. The story in this game is phenomenal, and yep, I hear you, differences already. This boss was significantly altered alongside all the other ones. That turquoise asset you saw was but a mere warm-up for this fight, since initially, believe me or not, that Batnik, to put it that way, was actually the original boss. I kid you not, he did nothing but move left and right, and you just have to bounce off another turquoise to kill him. I'm glad they changed that, and that's why there's a little thing I want to introduce you called creativity. And oh no, how did you get here? Anyways, yeah, sprite change. Which brings us back to what I was saying before about the title. The third trouble, as you guess, is, yep, Knuckles is back and he wants the emeralds. Oh no. Anyway, Sunset Park, and already new gimmicks are being introduced. Minecarts. We're not gonna use those yet. I'm sorry, I wanted to make you a demonstration. Please don't kill me. Anyways. Let's finish what we started and grab the last of the Chaos Emeralds. And by that I mean the 6th one, since Robotnik stole the yellow one, to put it that way. What am I even saying? Anyways. Final special stage. Boy, these are enjoyable as ever. I love these. By far my favorite ones. Even, in my opinion, even better than the ones in Sonic Mania. Since to be fair, these ones have something that Sonic's Mania special stages doesn't have, and that's the fact that it's a lot more beginner friendly. Since the game gives you a lot more rings, more time, and you're not running in a loop, you're just running in a straight line. Which doesn't make it as difficult to get hit by objects. And for that reason, I also tend to prefer them. Another gimmick added to this game was the fact that was also an inspiration from Sonic Origins, in which you had the ability to retry special stages by spending lives. You can actually do that, I kid you not. Makes this game all the more replayable and beginner friendly to those still getting used to the physics. Especially since not everyone is used to PC controls, and I could bear a witness to that, I kid you not. Anyways, 100% has already been acquired. See you at the Atomic Destroyer. Oh no. Robotnik has a new super weapon which he somehow built in less than 3 seconds. One of the things you wonder most about Sonic games. You beat Robotnik one game and then the next he's just back with a super weapon all of a sudden. He apparently built in less than 10 seconds. Who would have known? You can apparently do that or duplicate. Nice. Well, that sure is convenient. Anyways. Speed. Certainly feels a lot more like a Genesis game, and yep, that is another reason why I'm so glad Noah decided to remaster this. 10 out of 10. Not to mention that we're in probably the zone considered to be the most memorable in the original game, Sunset Park. I won't spoil anything yet, don't worry. I'd also like to point out how in this game they literally made Sonic a literal beast. You don't have to spin dash to break walls anymore, you could just hit him phase on if you have enough speed with a spin jump. I want to call it that. How remarkable. He's Knuckles now, how lovely. Anyways. Well, again, a matter of platforming and what I like to call patience. It really has become a staple on the channel, hasn't it? Speaking of which, comment down below if you guys want me to play the original Triple Trouble. If you want me to make a comparison, I would love to do so. These games are a classic, and as previously said, in my opinion, Triple Trouble on Game Gear is by far the best game. Would you look at that? It's battle stage we can't even access, and we're blinding cast 1 emerald. That's convenient. In the original Sonic the Hedgehog, he also had all the emeralds, but we were still able to nab them. That's odd, but anyways. One question, convenient story logic. There you have it. Archetypes, anyways, not really. Back to gameplay. Mine cards, gotta love these features. You can only make them move by spin dashing, keep that in mind. So they are decently fun to control, and they can do the impossible, even destroy obstacles. Just like that. You believe me. Believe me now. Well, that's lovely. Anyways. Go again. Nice. All perfectly planned out from the very start, don't worry. Why there's something called planning. Nice. Go again. Anyways, let's say hello to our good old boy Knuckles. Just saw him a good minute ago. And now he's ready to take a beating. And as you could already tell, he has certainly changed from the Knuckles we're used to. When it comes to his boss fight, that is. I will say, I love the amendments they made to this boss. In the original game, it was just smack him while he's gliding, and that was about it. Win. In this game, he has a lot much more creative moves that are powered, however you want to call it. Creativity, ladies and gentlemen, creativity indeed. Critical factory making video games, and Mario games make that a lot more apparent too. Speaking of which, also stay tuned for my Mario Bros. Wonder playthrough. I'm also planning to play that game in the future. After Superstars, of course. Sonic Superstars to be exact. I'm playing all the upcoming games in order they release them in. Nice. Tails has clearly proven to be a beast in this game. Good gosh. Thanks, AI. What was once a mere decoration has now become the killing machine itself. To be fair, I pretty much also proved that in my other Sonic Origins playthroughs. Anyways, my good old buddy pal Knack, how are you doing? Already taking quite the beating from the amount of times we struck him with lightning. Oh yeah, and I also forgot to explain how the spiral stages in this game work. As previously stated, or you could probably already tell, but I'm still going to explain them anyway, for those who still want information. The goal, or the objective of these spiral stages is to basically race Knack and get to the emerald before he does, similar to yet again Sonic Mania, but this time, it's not entirely solely based on experience and skill. You actually have to maneuver yourself correctly, and you have to plan out your moves wisely. Whether you want to go for a ring monitor, or whether you want to strike him with lightning to slow him down to actually get a decent chance to catch up to him. Theory prefers, since rings still act as a timer before you're kicked out of a special stage, and with the lightning modes basically just slowing Knack down so you can catch up to him. Either way, assuming you don't run out of time if you get to the emerald before Knack does, you win! Now you have to do that 5 more times if you want to get the good ending. Spoilers! Anyways, back to platforming. Decently love the approach they went with these stages. 10 out of 10. Top notch. Anyways, here we go. Nice. Going back to the intro, which I mentioned around 5 to 6 times when we were in Turquoise, and I never even finished my explanation. I want to explain both the opening in which Sonic turns on the Genesis and that poster that said Stage 22 on it. To give you some backstory, that opening, that animation where Sonic would just spin dash into the Genesis to turn it off or to power it on, that is actually another reference. It's based on Sega Channel, believe it or not. Yes, that one system where we would occasionally download games a day and then they would immediately get deleted one day after download. Back then, when they did the unthinkable and they made digital games. The difference. But anyways, that's basically how it would work. You would basically download a game to the Sega Channel, and then you would, before booting up the game, an animation would play depicting Sonic yet again spin dashing to turn on the Genesis right before the game booted up. And I'm glad they brought it back. It's truly a classic one, and I also love the additional detail that was a Genesis cartridge for Triple Trouble. Just making it all feel a little more Genesis-like, and I respect them for that, and I love that too. They really tried their best to make this into a Genesis game. Also, beware of that one spring. Don't keep. If you ever encounter it, don't go right. Bump into it. Well, just loop. Trust me. Don't ask how I know. It's not like I played this before or anything. Don't worry. Anyways, Marble Zone vibes. Good memories there. Anyways. Back to what I was saying about the Sega Channel. That answers your first question, and to answer your second question... Oh yeah, Stage 22. Please don't kill me. Basically, Stage overall was actually basically just an event or a time of the year where Sonic fans would basically just come together and make a Sonic game. How lovely. In the fact that I believe this game came out in 2022. At least the first version that came out to the public eye. When it was completed. Nice. That answers your question. Stage 22, in short, yet again, Sonic, an entire team of Sonic fans just coming together to make this game. 2022. Had enough of these explanations yet? Well, hope not. Here we go again, ladies and gentlemen. Remember when I said how this zone was the most memorable in the game? Oh, get ready. A train. The entire time, Sunset Park was basically more so less a train station like setting, to put it that way, but it was pretty beautiful. It's called Sunset for a reason. I guess Sega fans have just discovered Nintendo's secret to making good Sunset assets, or aesthetics, to put it that way. Once thought to be unmatched when it came to that. How lovely. Anyways. So really I'm abusing the fire element shield here, and just like that, board the train, and good gosh, as you could already tell, it's pretty obvious, this is nothing like the Triple Trouble chase sequence. For those of you who don't know, as shown, Sunset Park is one of the two zones, I believe, that has 3 acts instead of 2. And the reason I saw that was because in the 3rd act was a train chase segment. And boy, was it decently altered to fit a much more advanced engine that was a Genesis, and I'm glad they did that too. Since in the original game, all you did was just hold right, kill Batniks, and avoid falling into pits. Only they were much smaller and you were dealing with wacky physics, as you would expect. It was an 8-bit game for a reason or two. At least, you had to hope you would get there before... You had to hope the batteries didn't just die on you by then. To be fair, I guess you could say that the Game Gear did one thing that the Game Boy could not at the time, was color. That's remarkable. Anyways, going back to what I said before, to finish off my comparison of these two train chase segments, this one was a lot more creative. You even have the options to even encounter Flicky capsules to free them from the clutches of the evil Dr. Robotnik, and I love that. It gives a lot more emphasis on story. I'm already turning this into a review and a documentary. We might as well. I mean, I could make them individually, but that is why there's something I like to call quality over quantity, which many of you may or may not be familiar with. It's not like I mentioned it 10 times on this channel or anything like that, don't worry. In case you don't believe me, go watch my previous Sonic Origins live streams. Just for proof. Anyways, Naga's surely proving to be a formidable foe, if I do say so myself, ladies and gentlemen. He really is trying to kill us. Unlike Knuckles, who just randomly presses a switch and sends us to our inevitable doom, which in reality just turns out to be the next stage. Convenience. Anyways, this time Knack is trying to kill us. And I killed myself trying to rescue a Flicky capsule. Save the animals, ladies and gentlemen. Save the animals indeed. This game already pictures a nature versus mechanistic world, like, archetype in a way. Well, that's Sonic in a nutshell. There you have it. Guess you couldn't get enough of this. Beautiful. We're off to a great start. I died one time. Already going very... This is already going nothing to my practice runs, which is pretty usual. Basically, pressure gets you, and thanks, Tails. Beautiful. Tails really is proven to be the main character than the sidekick, if anything, and I gotta love these additional animations. Tension surely builds up in this segment, and one of the reasons as to why it is the most memorable part in the entire game. Or at least that was the case in the original Game Gear version. Let me know in the comments below which part of the remasters or remake is your favorite part. Anyways, that is boss, ladies and gentlemen. Level... Never mind. Oh. Setting. Oh, yep, rest in peace. Unfortunately, for those of you wondering, it went nothing like that in the Game Gear. You would just fight the engine, destroy it, and then you would just automatically get teleported to the next act, to put it that way, or zone. And it took Lyra. Anyways, we went from China to apparently South America now. Nice. Settings. To be fair, we are pretty much traversing through another island, to put it that way. And for those of you wondering where this game takes place in, I tried my best. I couldn't find that one answer. Don't kill me. However, the information I did find seemed a bit suspicious, so for the sake of not misleading you, there you have it. Anyways. Go again. Oh, and here's another fun fact. In this game, there was also that one exclusive feature where it also let you do the unthinkable and curl up into a ball while midair. It really came in handy when it came to bouncing off springs or when you accidentally fell to your inevitable doom. It certainly helped you deal with badniks you couldn't see. Just like that. Fun fact, that was even the intended way where you would fight that one, the very first boss in the entire game. No, not the giant creative of turquoise we fought earlier, but the smaller, much more minion-like one that resembled a badnik, if anything. I mean, to be fair, different hardwares, different power, different capabilities. That's previously meant. I could really personally say the only one of the main reasons as to why the bosses that ever probably felt like an annoyance was, yet again, probably due to the physics. They were made to accommodate them, and would you look at that? Now that is what I call good level design. The game just forces you right into a special stage even if you have no idea where on Earth you are. Or should I say, where on Mobius you are. Don't kill me. Anyways, secrets. Keep an eye on these things. If you jump in the right tile, you can even expose a hidden spot. Or a hidden secret, and can break stuff. Remember when I said Sonic felt like a beast in this game? Yeah, there you have it. There's evidence. And good gosh, I absolutely love the music in this game. In case you thought the Sonic CD soundtrack was good enough, or you didn't think it was good enough, I like it. If anything, Sonic Triple Trouble feels like a lot more cartoonish-like game. I like it for that reason. It's funny. It's pretty evident given the characters, more or less. Specifically Knack the Weasel, or the music, as you just heard. In my opinion, that one thing that plays out once you acquire the Sonic shoes in question, which allow you to go faster, it hits hard, if you ask me. And I already missed something. Beautiful. Well, here we go again. Trying my best to give you quality gameplay while at the same time entertaining you. Don't kill me. Nice. So love how athletic Sonic games make the Sonic look. Pretty decent. I mean, to be fair, it was going for a teenager audience to basically make Sonic look cool in a way, and I like that. Nice. Gives the game a lot more feel, and boy, the animations are very well done. You would think that all they did was just for the Sonic and Tails sprites were just copy and paste Genesis sprites, but in actuality that's what they initially did, but then they modified them. Anyways, Knack. Also a good time to mention that. Actually, I think I also meant previously. This Knack was originally exclusive to the special stages. You got to the end of them, you would fight him and then acquire your prized emerald. Initially, he was meant to be for the game in the Game Gear game. He was originally also planned to be outside the special stages, but this never happened. Very little was known about the development history of Sonic Triple Troll for the Game Gear. However, much is known about its remake, which is why I'm explaining to you right now, for those of you curious. Legacy. Game deserves it. I love it. Nice. Tails' latest one. Another thing I decently like about the 8-bit games was the fact that they, in a way, they try to be creative with the way with designs you would just bypass. Instead of just being there to symbolize that you clear level and that Sonic, that Sonic basically got through erotic treasure and just slapped his face on it to let him know that he was coming. Instead, it actually plays a lot more like a bonus, depending on how well you did. Either giving you score, more rings, or even lives. Creativity, I like that. Anyways, barely missed that. Barely missed that. Already gonna cost me a reset if I speedrun. Anyways, not the Weasel, good old buddy, old pal. Good to see you alive. I mean, we did just bury you. This goes to show that no contraption is perfect, and yeah, we basically crashed his ride, how he liked, known as the Marvelous Queen, for those of you wondering what he calls it. Yes, I'm not even kidding, that's what he actually calls it. The Marvelous Queen. Don't ask where I got that. Superstars. There you have it, spoilers already. Please don't kill me. Anyways. I am glad this game also implemented the cartoonist-like comedy fact that you could just bury Knack. I mean, to give the Game Gear game a bit of credit, they did it first, but nice seeing it return. Heck, even in the promotion for Sonic Superstars, in the trailer, they even added that. It would serve as a malfunction or a failsafe to Knack's ride, to put it that way. Nice. And would you look at that? That one shield from Sonic 1's back. Good to see it return, and he just nearly avoided death. Spikes, my weakness. Thank you. Not really. Suffocation takes that honor. Or privilege, I should say. Anyways. Nice. All that for a switch. Welcome to Labyrinth. No, I'm just kidding. Please don't kill me. And I should also point out how this also wanted to share a piece of information that probably a decent amount of you don't know or haven't realized. The background asset for Meta Juggler Act 2, or in this ruin we're currently in, is actually a remnant, or actually not really. It was actually inspired by a cancelled Sonic game developed by Sega Technical Institute called Treasure Tales. As the name suggests, it was basically another. I forgot the word. It's basically just another game in the Sonic franchise that would just star Tails as the main protagonist. Nothing is known about its development history or why it was even cancelled or how it was even meant to play out, apart from a few screenshots, one of which depicted an aesthetic or a background similar to that of the one shown here. Fun fact. Just goes to show the great care fans just put into their products. Deep respect. Anyways. Yes, platforming. Just what I needed. I barely avoided that. Already getting Indiana Jones vibes. I mean, this is a jungle for one reason or another, and conveniently, a temple awaits inside. I'm so getting distracted. Don't kill me. Nice. Go again. I also love how they even brought back the aspect that whenever Sonic gains a decent amount of speed, he could just entirely bypass liquids. Which obviously include water and mud, as you can probably tell. And as you even noticed, Sonic even got a returning move, the Super Peel. And I'm glad they brought back that move. Again, another feature that the Game Gear did first, but I'm glad they did it. Yet again, more respect. To be fair, it's essentially Spin Dash 2, but it's nice to see it return. It's pretty aesthetic and cartoonish in a way. Again, remember when I said that this game felt cartoonish in its own way or another? There's that point. And escape sequence. Nice. We gotta get out of the ruin now. Oh yes, this already felt like one of those pinball-like levels in Sonic games, you know? This goes back to the pattern I made in my earlier stream for I think it's my live stream. Basically, there would always be a level near the beginning of the game which played out pretty swiftly and straightforward, and then eventually pinball-like stages, mechanic ones, which would tend to take place for the end of the climax of the story, and go on from there. Even some labyrinths. I guess you could say this Meta Clear did both. Probably didn't have a clue as to what I just say. Don't worry. I feel you. Anyways, cutscenes. I am deep respect for this. Yet again, remember when I said how this game was a remake? It stays loyal to its predecessor, to put it that way, but in its own way, it's its own individual game. Egg Zeppelin, beautiful. All of a sudden, Sonic has successfully infiltrated a Zeppelin, and here we are, just falling our way to Robotnik. Beautiful, and I got distracted again. Nice. I love this. I absolutely love this segment. So creative, and I gotta say, it feels just so satisfying, just ripping your way through contraptions. Anyways, we're aboard and we have successfully infiltrated it conveniently. Nice. Well, let's go pay the good old Matt Doctor, our friend, the visitor, to. Well, again, we're already off to a fantastic start. I might as well play a sales for this one. Early given the spotlight, or Taffy, the AI pretty much did all the work for me. Anyways, rocket shoes. How could I forget that? Anyways, hello there. Oh no, Switch. And there's that one pose. Those are the newly featured sprites, as I mentioned earlier. They're not directly copy and paste, and good gosh, I love this segment. You just explained a lot more lore, as I previously mentioned. And don't worry, I'll talk about it in a sec, but before I do, now is also a good time to explain the power-up. You'd get rocket shoes, and good gosh, I love these. They originally originated in Sonic Chaos, and yet again, this goes to prove how this game was a direct sequel, or at least a Game Gear counterpart, and I love how it turned here. Pretty enjoyable and decent. Well, it is unfortunate that you don't get to use them in the actual levels, and they're just there for cutscenes or boss fights. I am glad they brought them back, though. To be fair, in their original respective games, they would only last for about 10 seconds or 5 seconds or so, and before just disappearing. Anyways, I'm doing the unthinkable and I'm skipping a level. Kind of. This is why Tails is such a broken character. Not only is he a killing machine that he could basically just destroy anything with his two tails, but he can also fly. You have broken physics, ladies and gentlemen. Those two tails really have a lot to offer. And good gosh, the ring physics are broken, as you could tell. Nice. To be fair, I should also mention that fun fact. The reason as to why Tails can run as fast as Sonic, or even build up enough speed relatable to that of his, is because he basically just uses his two tails as a propeller, given by the animations, as you could probably tell, to basically just propel himself forward at great speed by spinning them really quickly. Oh no, self-destruct. We have destroyed the engine within the Zeppelin, and now evacuation. If the Metajuggler escape sequence was so good, why not make a sequel? And I'm glad they did. A lot more intense too. And this one has a time limit. This is a contraption after all. It's not as organic or natural. And here we are. Escape sequence. Suspenseful as always, and just like that, speedrunning our way to victory. Crash land to nowhere. Oh. Oh, that's lovely. Robotic winter, ladies and gentlemen. How convenient. did just say hello to the good old Mad Doctor, although we didn't fight him. Good gosh, I love this music. In my opinion, this is probably, if not the most memorable zone in the remake. And you'll get to see, and you'll soon learn why. This zone certainly has a lot to offer to you, apart from its obvious aesthetic. Welcome to Canada. Beautiful. Go again. Beautiful. Even the sound effects feel cartoonish. Just yet again, I'm proving my point over and over again in case you still don't believe me. Nice. Go again. As complex as Sonic levels go, I love them for that. Specifically, since you don't have to just always go in one way, in one straight path. You can actually get creative and experiment with whatever path you want to take, and take the one that accommodates you most. Really, that's even taken into consideration when it comes to speedrunning too. Not always going through the exact same path, and I like that. Well, unless you already planned out a reasonable route to beat the game as fast as possible. But still, it's just a process. I like it. Good level design. Not to mention that, as previously mentioned, the Sonic level design is considered to be the most complex and maybe even the most difficult because of the amount of possibilities you have to account for and take into consideration when it comes to building these assets. Pretty decent. Again, there's a secret here. Oh, there isn't. Speaking of which, I also showed a ring, or another spell stage earlier, and going back to the Emerald lore, oh boy, get ready for this. To basically summarize what you just saw, this also builds part of the exclusive lore and story added to this game. Robotnik basically studies the emeralds at some point, and basically got a reading on the emeralds comprising of both negative and positive energy. Eventually, Robotnik discovers that Emerald's negative energy was duplicatable, and thus decides to create his own assemble of emeralds, harnessing the dark power of negative energy, create Dark Chaos Emeralds. Yeah, how villainous, am I right? To be fair, that is a very decent plot. I like it. And that just so explains the third trouble too. The return of Robotnik and his desire for the emeralds more than ever now. Obviously, he wants to use them for evil to mechanize the planet, or Mobius, to put it that way as a whole. Whatever you want to call it. Pretty funny. Going back to Mobius for a second, yet again, I always thought of it as a bit funny and weird at the same time, since the North American manuals haven't really referred to Mobius, the name Mobius, since I believe it was what, Triple Trouble? I'm not sure, but it was definitely when Sonic entered his awkward era. Anyways, Robotnik. It's called Robotnik Winter for a reason or two, and we just destroyed his statue, and Knuckles is not happy. He really wants revenge, and I respect his persistence. And I also respect the creativity counted for this boss fight. It resembles the box art decently, considering the fact that in the box art it depicted Robotnik Winter with Knuckles buried on the ground, or coming out of a burrow, Knack holding an emerald he stole, and of course, Robotnik. We'll get to Act 2 in just a sec, but first, as you could already tell, you have to get Knuckles the good old beating or two. Hopefully, convince him to reconsider which side he's on. It's pretty funny. In the original Game Gear version, he was supposedly quote-unquote fooled by Robotnik again. Has that become a staple? Clearly, one time wasn't enough. You have to go in again. Rest in peace, my good old buddy old pal. No mercy. Sorry. I was about to combo him, but the game said no. Fun fact, speaking of comboing Knuckles, you could when he lies down, you could actually bounce off him, constantly keep doing that, even when the game forced you to stop. It'll just keep bouncing. Your momentum just keeps building up. Anyways, cutscene. Oh my goodness. You still think this is a fan game? Still think this is a fan game? Yeah, just Just look at how official this feels. You don't see this often in fan games. Look at this. Creativity. Gonna be honest, a lot of people even consider Sonic Triple Trouble 16-bit to be, if anything, the greatest fan game ever made. And I gotta agree with that statement. It's clearly obvious as to why this game gets so much respect and love out of the community. They put a decent amount of love, and you could tell why. Just look at this. You don't see this very often. If you thought the snowboard sequence in Sonic 3 was decent, well, let me introduce you to this. This time you have control of that segment. Not just a cutscene. It's a level. Part of an act. Act 2. Which Knuckles just basically yet again proves his strength in an unnecessary way, and basically just causes not to fall off the mountain, to put it that way. And yes, snowboards. This was another feature which the original Game Gear game introduced. However, obviously the opening cutscene for Robotnik Winter Act 2 didn't have that, for obvious reasons. But I'm glad they brought it back in this game, and boy is this snowboard one of the funnest things to control. Gotta love it. So look at this, it's an absolute rampage of a killing machine, and decent and cool. There's that word cool again. Not cool again, cool again. My apologies, forgive my commentary. Here we go again. That was short-lived. First these pipes. I want my snowboard back. Fortunately, you don't see their monitors very often, as you did in the original game. Since, as with every other power-up, all you had to do to actually get your hands on a snowboard was just to find its respective monitor, break it, but then gain control of the vehicle itself, or the contraption, I should say. Pretty decent. It was another thing that was featured in the box art too. North American box art is basically just based off entirely of Robotnik Winter. For obvious reasons. I like that. But the question remains, we're definitely seeing Knuckles again. Gonna be honest, that one segment where Knuckles just causes Snow to fall off a mountain, it always reminded me of the one scene in the Sonic movie too. I won't tell you what happens, but it's similar and reminds me of that. I won't spoil it for you, don't worry. Watch the movie yourself. If you haven't, you're really missing out. Really good one too. Not to mention it was live action, as with the first, which many of you know. Anyways, here we go again. Gotta love this soundtrack. 9 out of 10. Rest in peace, Sonic. No, I'm just kidding. Go again. Good day now. In the meantime, I brainstorm what else to commentate that I have yet to explain in this live stream alone. Trying to make it the best I can. I'm building up hype for one reason or another. Going up. Alternative routes, ladies and gentlemen. This is why Sonic games take a while to develop. One of the reasons, at least. Thank you, Tails. I repeat, he is an absolute killing machine. Secrets. Say with me now. Good level design. Go again. Patience. I guess you could say in a way that Robotnik Winter in a way did get a bit of inspiration from Ice Cap Zone. Forgot the name for a second or two. Anyways, snowboards. Let's give Tails a spotlight for once. Just look at how cute. Oh, okay, never mind. Thanks, Pipe. I was about to say, look how cute his animations are. But anyways, where do we go from here, you ask? Well, we're committing suicide. That's what we're doing. Rest in peace, Sonic. Nah, not really. Purple Palace, ladies and gentlemen. Remember when I mentioned the Purple Palace earlier, when it was initially meant to be just a special stage, one of the two special stages in the original Game Gear Triple Trouble. Well, it's a hidden zone now, since obviously, because the special stages were so already well made, and the idea was already pretty solid, there was no need for these stages, so they just made them. The team just made it a hidden zone. like Hidden Palos in Sonic 2, and they are accessed in a pretty identical way. The Death Pit. Boy, I love that. Secrets, am I right, ladies and gentlemen? Yet again, replayability. This, since if you go this way, you'll also skip a boss of Robotnik Winter. A Badnik boss, I meant to say. But I thought I might give the Purple Palace a bit of more emphasis, considering the fact that I just talked about it, and it really wasn't a lot of people, and wasn't all that memorable in the original game, if you ask me. To be fair, it felt more like a special stage than on your typical stage. My apologies. But you gotta love it. It certainly is beautiful. And for those of you who have a good eye, the background person in this zone, or at least in the remastered version or remade version, was even shown in one of the special stages. In the last one, to be exact. The background tiles I'm referring to. Those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. And hey, classic Sonic fans know what this is. This is one of the two power-ups that were introduced in Sonic Chaos, the Spring, where basically just acted like a pogo stick and let you bounce very high to collect rings. I'm glad they brought this back. You don't see this at all in the game. You saw it a lot more often in the Game Gear version of Triple Trouble, since it was meant to be used in the levels for collecting rings. Anyways, Title Plant Zone. I'm glad they brought back that power-up. It was memorable. They showed it off in the North American boxer for Triple Trouble for the Game Gear. Peace. And speaking of Game Gear, oh, I could even balance. You could do that if you build them in a speedrun fact. Speaking of the Game Gear and Master System, originally, fun fact, Triple Trouble for the Game Gear was actually meant to have a port to the Master System. The reason as to why that was is because Master System and Game Gear shared an identical, if not the same, hardware capabilities, to put it that way. So thus it was therefore basically easy to just take games released for the Sega Game Gear and just slap them on the Master System. That's why you would often see a lot of games, and one reason why the Master System basically survived the 16-year war up until the late 2000s. A console that refused to die, to put it that way. That's part of the reason as to why. Anyways, Title Plant. Another memorable zone in the original Triple Trouble. Pretty memorable game overall, if you ask me personally. Pretty obvious as to why. It's creative, cartoonish, and aesthetic and funny in its own way, and I like it. Why video games are meant for something called entertainment. Thank you. Heck, going back to the development history of Triple Trouble 16-bit, even when they were marketing this game for people to download it, they even marketed it as using the old method, as if this were the late 20th century. Extra respect. You gotta love the effort put into it as a whole. Love, am I right? This goes to show how far communities can go as a whole. Nice. Not to mention Sega 2 respects its fans sincerely. Hypothetically speaking, you could pretty much also do this at whichever game you wanted, just as long as you weren't obviously charging people for it, and that'd be bootlegging. Hence why Sega, for the most part, doesn't have a problem whatsoever with people who made fan games. If anything, people who make these games get hired. I'm not kidding, that's what actually happens most of the time. Extra respect. As previously mentioned, and as proven, Sega cares deeply about its audience. I like them for that. Pretty remarkable. Anyways, going back to Title Plant for a good minute or two. Water Stage. What would a video game be without one of these? How classic. Please don't kill me. Go again. Beautiful. You're witnessing quality content gameplay. Don't kill. Please bear with me. Stand by. Nice. We go again. Back underground you go. Do the thing that Sonic loves most. Swimming, which you can't even do. Go again. I already fell off. Beautiful. I've done the unthinkable and I broke and I did something the unintended way. Oh no. Anyways, might as well get the extra lives. For satisfaction. Never know. Whether you missed a special stage, you failed a special stage, and when you just want additional tokens to retry a special stage. Here we go again. Speaking of which, I might even share a little tip, a little trick with how you can get the emeralds even faster if you don't know where to find them. In the current act you are, if you manage to locate a special ring and trace a path towards it, you could actually just retry if you don't feel like waiting for others. Forgive my commentary. Here we go again. If you don't feel like basically waiting for another giant ring location for you to find one at least, and basically just eating against time, you could actually avoid that entirely by just resetting the stage as a whole, since resetting it will also reset the giant rings. If you do this, then they'll load back and you'll be able to access them once more. This is also another neat trick to retry special stages if you fail them, and another good way to farm for emeralds if you are desperate to get the good ending and if you're still trying to get used to PC controls. Or whether you just don't feel like, yet again, just going out of your way to explore. To be fair, I wouldn't exactly blame you for that. It's understandable in its own way. So if you ask me, nowadays I actually tend to like exploration a lot more than I used to. Creative in its own way. And it's something Metro does a decent good job at. Anyways. Not my good old buddy, old pal. It's certainly good to see you again, good old buddy. And yes, another fight reminiscent of his... contraption reminiscent of one of his fights from the special stages. However, in the Game Gear version, as you could probably imagine, it was way easier. All he did was just bounce towards you. He didn't... The additional ball and chain was added. That was not there before. And hey, 50 rings. You got an emerald. You don't see those very often. They're pretty uncommon. You usually get Tails or Sonic. But I'm glad I got that. 50 rings. Could access super characters. Oh. Or can we? Just in case you forgot, Robotnik still has one of the emeralds. And hey! Sound familiar? Or look familiar, I should say. Yes! They even went as far as adding references from Tails' Adventure. For those of you who yet again require additional explanations, this was a phenomenal game released for the Game Gear, which yet again starred Tails, as the name suggests. It played a lot more like a Metroidvania, in which exploration was a thing, and hey, we were just talking about that. How convenient. I mean, couldn't be better. Pretty decent. And that game even had its own story to accompany it. Took place before, well, supposedly took place before Sonic and Tails met. Comment down below if you want me to make a video on that game. Or even a live stream, for that matter. Maybe, if you guys want me to. Be sure to comment down below, I'd love to. Know how much I like classic Sonic for one reason or another. Anyways, even charge and yet again shoot missiles. Who knew that just one simple robot could do so much? Believe me or not, in the original game, you would at some point find a remote controlled robot which you could move around by controlling it, which you actually got pretty early on, but later on you could upgrade into this vehicle. I forgot what it was called. Please don't kill me in the comment section, I tried my best. At least I gave you the name for Knack's vehicle. Pretty neat. Every time you wanted to go underwater, basically the robot itself would just turn into this contraption and you would pilot him. Cartoonish, am I right? One reason, I guess that's one of the things that Game Gear was known for the most when it came to Sonic. Cartoonish feel, to put it that way, and it's a lot more apparent with Triple Trouble. Probably tell why. Nice. For those of you struggling to nail the controls on this vehicle, it's pretty pretty straightforward to nail down, but if you're struggling, I recommend you just mash the fire button at all times if you and never stop moving. You wanna keep your momentum. That's certainly how I learned to control this thing. And you might even have some fun doing this. If you wish to go full psychopath to destroy everything in your path, go ahead. And hey, that one creature we encountered earlier was sabotaging us, and which cut the power to Tidal Plant Zone, or at least the mechanized portion of it. And hey, Knuckles to the rescue, or is he? Not really, he's here to kill us. This time he has a machine of his own to counter us, and I'm doing beautifully. Nice, thank you. Anyways, I'm being reckless. Commentary got me killed, and oh, that's a surprise. We weren't even fighting Knuckles, we were fighting Metal Sonic. Better make amendments to my comment from earlier, stating that Knuckles was fooled. Not really. Turns out the entire time it was Metal Sonic, which you know what that means. Knuckles is in trouble, and we gotta go save him now. Act 3. Oh no. Oh, here we go again. When I said that all zones in this game had a third act, well, there it is. Yes, spam the chat indeed. Oh gosh, I have no idea how long that comment's been there. I've been too focused on commentating. Please forgive me. Nevertheless, welcome to the stream. It's good to see you. Feel free to do what you want. Rated, sure. Anyways, Metal Sonic. And alongside him, a really decent remastered track. And I missed them. Beautiful. This fight is very straightforward. You just have to basically smash him when he charges towards you. Or when his shield goes down, to put it that way. One of the ways I could call that. Combo, that's a first, thank you. Requires a little something I call patience. Don't kill me, please, I beg you. Spare me. Crack. It really suits the setting. Anyways, Rocket, here we go. We're back to space. Does that ever get old when it comes to Sonic games, ladies and gentlemen? We go again. Use super weapon. Oh. Brace yourselves. Atomic Destroyer Act 1. Hey, remember when the game teased us back in Sunset Park about this zone? Well, welcome home, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome home. We do have a bone to pick with Robotnik after what he did. Well, here we go. And speaking of which, I even forgot to mention how he basically just used a remaining fragment of Big Arm to just smash us out of our super forms. Again, extra respect for the fan base. They really took into consideration just about everything, and I love it. And good gosh, this zone looks beautiful. And hey, that's also a reference to Tails Adventure, the Bird Army, for those of you who either don't know a whole lot about Tails Adventure, or for long-time fans. Thought that was gonna hit me for a sec. And speaking of fan base, oh beautiful, thanks Sonic. Here we go again. One moment, please. We're experiencing some technical difficulties. Okay, we're back. Nothing to worry about. And hey, does that enemy seem familiar to you? Well, it probably shouldn't, since that is actually an unused enemy, believe it or not. That enemy was originally meant to be in the Game Gear, and was meant to appear in Atomic Destroyer, but was cut for unknown reasons. Believe it or not. But I'm glad he returned in this game. Extra respect for fan base, thank you. So rings, every time I get hit, I instantly just get reminded of Sonic 2. Specifically because rings can do the unthinkable and clip into walls. Loopers, anyways. Platforming, nice. Classy. Here we go again. Look at that, surviving Batniks. Who would know? And hey, it's Snack. Another trap. Only this time it was actually trying to kill us, instead of just transporting us to another part of the stage necessary to beat. Anyways, that didn't last long because Tails exists, so There you have it. And, oh, sorry to break your fight. Rest in peace, Knack. He really just mistake Metal Sonic for Sonic. Little did he know that they were both fighting a common enemy. And we nearly committed suicide. Just trying to take a shortcut. Hey, would you look at that? Badniks. He's won the original game, fun fact. And Robotnik's angry. And he's out of the monitor. And hey, rocket shoes. Don't see these very often. Here we go. It's playing somewhat similar to how it did in the Game Gear. Only much bigger, as you could tell. Nice. And hey, Metal Sonic. We beat him up a good minute ago. Let's do it again. Do me a favor, Tails. You are the little killing machine. Go again. Nice. We're already off to a good start. This is probably even the first time we're actually fighting this version of Metal Sonic directly in a game supposedly meant to take place in the original Sonic timeline. You really have to be patient with him. You only have to charge him when he dive bombs you. Hence, that's when he's not burning. Again. And I missed. Nice. He certainly got him this time. That's the second time he's taking the punch a beating to the face. Act 1, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. We'll say though, his fight played exactly like it did in the Game Gear. Now that's what I call loyalty. Anyways, Act 2. Gotta love this soundtrack once more, in case you thought Sonic CD soundtrack wasn't good. Or in case you thought it was good, what am I saying? How dare me. It's also pretty obvious how Atomic Destroyer overall basically just got its layout from Metallic Madness. I guess it's obvious in a way. Good gosh, voice crack. Don't kill me. Go again. Doors. Ah, yes. Hope I'm going the right way. And I did. We're doing the unthinkable and doing something the unintended way, ladies and gentlemen. Speedrun. But what to say? Work smarter, not harder, ladies and gentlemen. Again. Good gosh, this song certainly hits hard. I love it. Extra respect for adding the Act 2 components for each zone. Certainly love that. Back to Sonic for a good minute. Tails has certainly proven to be of aid. A killing machine, for that matter. Rest in peace. You will be missed. Rest in peace, the sequel. Anyways, destruction. Here we go again. Malfunctioning spring. Oh no. Am I seeing bugs? No, just kidding. It's not the video. It's not the proper video. Nor was it organized correctly to be. I also have about 1,000 tabs open right about now. I only have Streamlabs and the game itself open. Go. Going back for the controls for a good minute. For those of you wondering, going back to what I said, you can play this game with a controller if you plug it in and if you set the settings to your liking. You could do that, but I personally recommend you play using the keyboard itself. Sure, it'll take a bit of time to get used to, but if I'm honest with you, it actually feels very sweet, and you actually have a lot more control than when you do with PC or controller. I meant to say. Don't kill me. Anyways, team swap accidentally just got me killed. Well, the partner swap I meant to say. Don't kill me. Go again. I'd say this is probably the first game that I actually just got used to playing using the keyboard only and not controllers. That certainly is the first, and I'm gonna be honest, it's certainly gonna help you if you guys want to get used to playing games on computer. Enjoyable, alright. It'll take time, yes, but you know the good old saying, practice makes perfect. There you have it. Experience. And oh boy, this is the death of me, suffocation. I forgot to mention this, by the way. My weakness. But not today. As that tactic is now obsolete. I mean it. Just be careful in case the hitboxes may or may not be a bit off when it comes to their size. Don't ask how I know. I may or may not have died at least a couple times before figuring out a reasonable way to avoid suffocation. When you're playing Sonic, it's just tempting to just speedrun and just blindly blast your way across the level. Only that's what speedrunners don't do, since obviously they have a map, and they have their routes planned out as they should be, as previously mentioned. But again, rest in peace, Tails. Speaking of which, I'm gonna give him the spotlight. We're already fighting a decent amount of enemies from similar to Tails' Adventure, the game he first started, so we might as well give him the additional respect. Besides, you could say he's probably killed a lot more badniks than Sonic himself already in this playthrough. Anyways, absolutely love this segment. Sure, you do get Death Egg vibes, but it's done right, and just look at this, 3D. Almost makes it feel 32-bit instead of 16-bit. Not to mention they went out of their way to make it feel 16-bit. Extra respect, yet again. Thank you. These badniks. Also pretty obvious to point out that for those upgraded models of those badniks, they use the old ones from Sonic 3. Knuckles. And here you go, it's a Chief. Boy, is he certainly charged up alright. And protected. Nice. But as we all know, every contraption made by human hand has its limits, and this one is no different. So again, he has certainly spiced things up. Will do, ladies and gentlemen, will do. I always like a good challenge. Good user for the two upcoming platformers that are coming up in the exact same month, that being Sonic Superstars and Mario Wonder. You stay tuned. I will play them, I assure you. Physics. Funny enough, if you touch the top of the screen when you're in the middle of an auto scroll, you actually get pushed up. The reason as to why this is, I wanted to point this out. Because Sonic's momentum carries over and he doesn't reach his optimal height, so therefore he keeps pushing upwards for a certain amount of time before gravity pulls him back down. It's pretty funny though to mess around, especially just to see Sonic getting pulled by the screen to the next tile. Anyways, let's finish him, and just like that he died. And oh no, a Dark Emerald was being powered by it all along, and back to the rescue, or to the spotlight I should say. Here we go, Super Peel. Oh no, and hey, wait for it. Hazards, ladies and gentlemen. Safety first, if I do say so myself. Do beware. And fun fact, that was, oh, good thing that was not another fire hazardous one. That is actually also a reference. Initially, in the very first special stage in the original Game Gear versions, you didn't actually fight Knack. He just tried to spring you into a trap, and in the process didn't even bother reading a sign, and it gets burned. That's a free emerald. Anyways, yes, Robotnik. I haven't seen you in a while, Lucky. And yep, he's already running away. That only took 15 seconds. Why, there's something called a mini-boss. Anyways, well again. I was about to say how in Triple Trouble, Sonic and Tails have their own unique ability. Tails obviously to fly, and Sonic's peel out ability. Spin Dash doesn't count since they could both do that. Forgive my commentary. What is this video? Turned against me now. Beautiful. This time you can do the unthinkable and combo Robotnik from the top, or else you get hit. Oh no. Patience. And that's why there's something called patterns. Just beware not to get hit like I did. or if Robotnik just decides to get in your way. You prefer, anyways. In my opinion, the most creative phase out of them all. This one, which you may or may not be familiar with. This could be a reused asset in recent fan projects, so I could be mistaken. So, let's be patient with this one, wait for Robotnik to stop, or you could just wait for him to slow down and then hit him. Just be aware not to get hit by the light bulbs from Sonic 1. That is also a reference. But by the time he stops, he should be enough time to hit him. If you take too long, you'll get struck by lightning, and you have to go the opposite way. Oh no! Not this again. A floating platform! Thank you. And yeah, good ending, ladies and gentlemen. That is 7 emeralds. Now that is what I call justice. It clearly took him like 3 games to learn this. Happened in the Game Gear Sonic 1, in Sonic 2 with the teleport, and then Sonic Chaos with that floating platform again. But just like that, it is proven that Knuckles was being held hostage and he was captured. A family reunion as they shake hands and they are on their way to a bright sunset. Or you would think. Since, yep, Metal Sonic is still up for a fight, and yep, he really did just do that, and he has a Dark Emerald. Let's kill him now. Initially, this wasn't even part of the original game. The game just ended after you killed Robotnik. Oh no, he has us. Certainly altered. You know, we could have just used the other 7 emeralds we had to power up, and we could have probably killed them by now. But that would be against the rules, since protagonists have to have 50 rings. That is not the case with the antagonists, male hedgehogs, and just like that, he has broken the rules and acts as a super form without rings. Oh no, but Knuckles to the rescue, as he clearly owed us one, and still thinks Metal Sonic is Sonic, and he wants to kill him. Comedy. We're dead. How comforting. But, just like that, the emeralds are just about robbed of their negative energy, as they have clearly been drained. I mean, that's the 2nd time for the yellow emerald. Hypothetically speaking, Metal Sonic now has 9 emeralds. 8 dark emeralds now. It's probably why I can access super form. And just like that, how convenient, a self-destruct sequence. Just like the Death Egg before it. As the space station collapses, we have to teach the good old Menace a lesson or two about messing with Sonic's friends, since you clearly don't want to do that. Sonic movie's proven that. Pretty obvious. Anyways, let's teach this Grapple Junk a good lesson or two to call him that. Probably what Sonic would. I'm trying my best to capture his character. Don't kill me. And hey, shield's down. I will say this is probably my favorite final boss in a 2D Sonic game. It's so creative. Phase 1, you have to deactivate his shield by hurling his own projectiles against him, assuming they're not electric like those ones. And once you're done, you basically then have to just charge him, assuming he doesn't ram you first, like that. If you get hit by that move, it'll cost you rings. Beware. This boss does take a bit of a while to get used to because of controls, but it's a fun one, alright. Especially just ramming him. And boy, he has certainly turned uglier, that's for sure. In the process of trying to make himself better armor, harnessing the power of the Dark Emeralds. You have to kill him now. So we're falling throughout the sky, and I'm already getting Kirby's Adventure vibes from the Nightmare fight. Extra respect. But basically, once you deactivate his shield, every face onward from theirs, just hit him in the chest. That's his weak point. Just be sure you don't directly just collide with him. You actually have to dash and tackle him. Why not do this? Do by pressing the jump button. It's tricky, yes, but certainly fun and creative. I'll give it that. I mean, this is the true final boss. It's meant to be challenging. Just like that. Just be aware not to get hit by the attacks in his later phases. Since if you get hit, you lose rings, and if the countdown takes a 0, you die, and you can't fly anymore. Anyways, yeah, a matter of time to disable this super weapon. Go again. In the final phase, he just shoots fireballs at you. Don't worry. If you have enough rings,
Be reckless if you want to. Just be sure you don't run out. And hey, this is it. Mashing, clearly my specialty. The one thing I'm still trying to nail down. Please bear with me. Why there's something called patience. And just like that, we're giving him a taste of his own medicine while we're at it. Here we go again. Nice. Now that's what I call a decent final boss and rivalry, that, ladies and gentlemen. And there he goes. Rest in peace. Applause. 10 out of 10. And just like that, as the others evacuate the collapsing space station and Knack. Sure glad he made it alive out of that one. And just like that, back to Turquoise Zone. As Atomic Destroyer collapses just like the Death Egg before it. Meanwhile, we're just on our way, with the emeralds required and Robotnik's plans thwarted once more. That is until Sonic Chaos, of course. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, to be fair, Sonic Chaos does take place after much, I say it later after the events of Sonic 3, but in Noah's timeline, or in the fan timeline to put it that way, that's not the case, since Triple Trouble takes up that honor. The Sonic 4 we wanted, and the one we were looking for the most. Deep respect. And that is the end. Credits roll. You gotta love this art. Decent one. Thank you. Animations, ladies and gentlemen. Animations indeed. Nice. Also, the first game that... Also, the second... Another Sonic game that basically allows you to... That gives you the option to just acquire every emerald in the first zone. After Sonic 2, of course. And do that. Exploration. And patience, obviously. There you have it. Owen Copeland. First name you often see. Game has a bang soundtrack, and I love it. Pretty memorable. Certainly look forward to Sonic Superstars. Stay tuned. And hey, they even brought back the old jingle where they would just take every soundtrack in the game and just mash it all into a remix for staff roll. Nice. Out of 10. In its own way, this is almost pretty similar to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, in which Super Sonic just flies over the horizon. In a way, it's kind of similar. It's also kind of similar to the original good ending for Sonic Triple Trouble in the Game Gear. The only difference is you're not just staring at Sonic and Tails flying over the horizon or over the ocean while credits roll, but this time you get a decent Super Sonic animation, since Super Sonic doesn't even appear in the original Game Gear version. But I'm glad he did in this one, even if you couldn't play as him. Even if he was only exclusive to the prologue and the epilogue, and just like that, our good old boy Knuckles and Tails made it out in one piece, and yet again flying alongside them. Just better hope Knuckles just doesn't get knocked off Tornado again. Fun fact, the Tornado is what Sonic's plane is called. How classic. Just like that, back on our way to deliver Knuckles back to Angel Island. And yes, the original Game Gear game was developed by Sega and Aspect. Nice. Do appreciate the additional respect. Good ending. Nice. Well, that surely is a way to wrap it off. Thanks for playing indeed. I love this already. I even forgot to mention one feature of the title screen. And hey, our boy Knuckles is here. Knuckles unlocked. You can now play as Knuckles in story mode or free play. For those of you who are wondering what the heck went wrong with him. Knack unlocked. There it is. You can now play as Knack in free play. I may or may not have tampered with the settings to make it calm that, which I'll show you right now. If you go to, if it's options, you can adjust whatever you want right here, but just again to your liking. One moment, please. There it is. Theory prefer Knack or Fang. I prefer Knack, so I'm leaving him like that. But you may call him whatever you want, and I also forgot to mention one more feature about the title screen. The title screen shown in the remake is actually a remnant of the Japanese title screen, since originally the Japanese title screen for this game actually showed Sonic and Tails standing together side by side. Unfortunately, the North American one didn't do that for whatever reason, and just instead slapped Sonic into the title screen alongside a miniature Knuckles, which would just laugh. It's funny, but if you ask me, I prefer the Japanese one. It just yet again shows the amazing duo Sonic and Tails are. Respect. But with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is Sonic Triple Trouble. Or is it? As we just saw, Knuckles was unlocked as an additional character, and we can play as him now in the story mode to see what the heck happened to him and how he went from Gordon the Master Emerald to ending up to getting his identity stolen by Metal Sonic. Let me know if you want to see this. This game was truly a blast, and I am looking forward to playing as Knuckles in the future, if you wish, of course. With that out of the way, that I believe just wraps up this live stream, or the hype we built up for the upcoming game Sonic Superstars launch title, which will launch very soon. Stay tuned for that, since I will live stream, and as always, I thank you all so much for watching. Comment down below on other games you also want me to see, since I might even play the original Game Gear version of Sonic Triple Trouble. They'll probably even give you a bit more history if you wish. But with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I wish you all a fantastic day, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, and as always, have a amazing day. See you next time.